Hello, welcome to spiderworking.com's Friday afternoon coffee break, and I've appended that with social media news. And the reason I've done that is because I've discovered that there's this new mappy thing on Facebook where you can see who's watching your Facebook Live. Hi to my one viewer. I can't see who you are, so do introduce yourself. You could leave me a comment or just give me a like or tell me where you are in the world, because that's what I was just talking about. You can now go into this map and you can see who's live and where, and you can start watching people. There's 3 of you now. Hello everyone. Do let me know where you are in the world. Give us a like so that I know you are here and I'll tune in afterwards. So that's really interesting. I'm going to be watching a lot more Facebook Lives, and hopefully this is going to get better. I've kind of got this new set going on. What do you think? I turned the camera around so you're no longer seeing my kind of dirty blank wall behind me. And I've got a few new props today. Big shout out to Kate McQuillan. I don't know if you're watching. If you are, say hi, because she recommended a couple of tools that I'm going to be using today. One of them being my iPad. So I won't be trying to take this off the tripod and showing you on my computer again. I will show you anything I need to on my iPad. But the downside of the iPad is that it takes ages for pages to load. I don't know. Maybe I need to clear it out. Anyway, the topics for today's Friday afternoon coffee break, and I do have my cup of tea, so grab a cup of tea, here's my magic whiteboard. There's been a Facebook algorithm change, and I'm going to tell you about that, and I think that's good news for quality content creators. Twitter links, oh my God, something's just happened with those and it's quite exciting. I do get excited about stuff. Facebook Pages Manager. There's been a change to the mobile apps for Facebook if you manage Facebook pages. I'm going to show you that because that's also very good news and something I may have got a little bit too excited about during the week. And finally, the reason I was with Kate McQuillan during the week was I was at the Learn Inbound event in Dublin, and the last speaker of the night was Ollie Gardner from Unbounce, and he gave us some great tips for landing pages. And I thought my landing page was pretty good until I got home and I looked at some of the issues that he pulled up on the night. So I've got a few tips to share from you from there. There's 8 of you watching now. I'd love to know where you are. Are you in Ireland? Are you in another part of the world? Do tell me. So on to my first topic. I've forgotten what it is already. Hang on. Haha, yes, of course. It's the Facebook newsfeed algorithm change. If you're reasonably new to using Facebook for marketing, you might not know about the algorithm, but basically, hey Darren in Moat, aha, not too far away, you're in Ireland too, that's great. If you aren't familiar with the Facebook newsfeed algorithm, you know when you see under your posts on Facebook that you've reached like 2 people or something, what determines who Facebook shows your post to is the newsfeed algorithm. Now, I'd be here all day if I was to explain it all, but there was a new feature introduced yesterday. Hey Darren, what's up with you? The new feature means that they're going to take into account how long people spend looking at posts. So that's kind of good for people who do Facebook Lives like this, because if you're doing a Facebook Live, hopefully you're going to stay tuned for a little while because I've got some more news coming up as well. So that will put a good big tick next to Spiderworking's page, which means they'll show my stuff to people in future. But it's also great for content creators. So what they're going to do is they're going to measure how long when somebody clicks your link to when they come back to Facebook again. And that means if they're clicking to good quality content, and they did say whether it was Facebook instant articles or if it was your own website, if people stay on that content for a long time, they're going to assume that it's good quality content. And that's going to be a factor. And by good quality content, that means they think you're creating good quality content, and they're going to show your stuff to people in the newsfeed more often. So the good news for consumers is, you know, all those clickbait headlines, you'll never guess which celebrity did this, and you click through and it's somebody you've never heard of. It's somebody that was like an extra in EastEnders 10 years ago or something. Well, when you do that, you tend to click away straight away. So that sort of content is definitely going to get penalised now. And quality content, like, you know, like really good posts that I put up, that sort of stuff will get more distribution than the newsfeed. I think that's quite exciting. That's a good development, particularly for bloggers, if there's any bloggers listening. And if you're not blogging yet, it's a reason to start. On to topic number 2. Twitter links. Oh my God! Because something really interesting happened with Twitter links. And I have to thank Krishna Day, because Krishna responded to a snap that I did on Twitter, which is kind of a long story. But I noticed this yesterday and nobody else could confirm that they were seeing it. So I had a bit of a discussion just now with Krishna on Twitter, and it will just take me a little while to load Twitter on my iPad so I can show you. But at the moment, when you're posting links on Twitter, particularly if it's your own content, or I do anyway, I make sure I always post an image with it. I'd have a specific image even that I would share. And the reason I do that is because, you know, plain text updates on Twitter, they get lost in the news feed. Not anymore. Because if you're adding a link, Twitter has just started auto expanding those. So I've got Twitter here now. Just bear with me. Just going to find one that's actually doing it now. Right, so here's a couple of examples. If you see my newsfeed, you can see right there, there's a couple of links that have shared. And the interesting thing is you can't see the text for the link, but you can see a preview of the link. It's actually what we'd call a Twitter card. So if I click this first one here, and I'm amazed I'm able to do this because every time I rehearsed this, it didn't work for me. It'll bring me anywhere on that, will bring me through to the website. It's a bit like how it happens on Facebook. So that's really interesting. And it doesn't just work with those small Twitter cards. If you have big Twitter cards installed on your website, I do. If you're using WordPress, the Yoast plugin helps you set up those Twitter cards. That means you're going to have a really big image, just like you would have if you'd attached an image, but it's going to be clickable. When people click it, it'll bring you through to your site. So you should start seeing more click-throughs if you do that. However, Krishna pointed out to me that although this seems to show on Twitter on the web and on the mobile devices at the moment, apps like Hootsuite aren't auto-expanding those Twitter cards. So you're still just getting the plain text update there. So if you're a blogger or if you share articles to your own content a lot on Twitter, you might consider, instead of putting the photo up, just letting it go with the Twitter card. What I did yesterday, because nobody could confirm whether this was happening for them or not until today, thanks Krishna, was I did a variety of them. So each time I publish a post on WordPress, I have a plugin called Co-Schedule that lets me schedule it out in advance. So I did half of those as links and I've done half of them as images, and it'd be really interesting to look at the analytics for those tweets to see which ones got the most click-throughs. Okay, on to topic number 3. By the way, while I'm just grabbing my whiteboard, I was thinking of getting some jingles or doing some jingles for this. Is that something you would like to see? See, my background just went off. Is that something you'd like to see or hear? Do you make jingles? Would you tell me how I can make jingles? If you have any ideas of the sort of jingles I can make. So just some bizarre noises. If you're aware of Joel.com, Joel.com does some really interesting live stuff, and he has these buttons you can press that make noises. Hey Sean, thanks for joining. Okay, so on to topic number 3. And this is another one I'll need to illustrate with my iPad. Is Facebook Pages Manager. Now, if you use Facebook and you use, I'll be back, just grabbing my iPad. If you use the Facebook Pages Manager app on your phone, or if you use Facebook on your phone, there was a really big problem, particularly if you were a manager on multiple pages. And that was that when you were on your regular Facebook app on your phone, if you liked a post from any of those pages, it would come up, not as if you or me, Amanda Webb, had liked them, but the actual name of the page would come up. So you'd click the like button, and it would happen a lot because myself and my business partner in the other business, Lorna Sixsmith, we'd be admins on each other's pages. So she'd share something I'd like, I'd click the like button, and instead of it coming up as being from me, it would come up as if it was from Right on Track, which is her business. And we know that looks really naff, yeah? When you see pages liking their own posts. And there was no way around that on mobile. There was no way around it. You can change, you can choose on the web, but not on mobile. The other day, something really odd happened. People started reporting that when they looked in their Pages Manager app on their phone, it looked like their business page had liked every single post they'd ever put on their Facebook page. So underneath every single post was spiderworking.com likes this. Now, I'd noticed this myself and I'd just assumed it was Lorna accidentally liking something from the mobile, but no, everyone had it. It's gone now, but the reason it appeared was Facebook made a change. And the change is that you can now like posts from your own pages or the pages that you manage as yourself. Now, let's bear with the very slow iPad while I show you. So now I'm going to do one of those things which is really bizarre, which is when you like your own page post, but at least it will come from me rather than coming from my business. So this is on a different internet. This is on the slow internet. We'll blame the internet. It's always the best thing to do. While I'm waiting for this to load, if there's anyone else joined, let me know whereabouts. There's 20 of you now. I'd love to know where you are in the world. If you're in Ireland, that's okay. Just tell me where you are in Ireland. That's great too. I'm in Ireland, by the way. For those of you who don't know me, I'm based in Athy in County Kildare, which is a lovely little town. We've got a castle and everything. Okay, so I've managed to load that now. This is where I really mess up. It's really hard to do this, actually, a lot harder than I imagined. So if I scroll through my page there. Okay, I have messed up here somewhere. Oh, that's weird. I just saw myself. Okay, so here is a video I posted today. Now, if I click the like button, now you can see, look, Amanda Webb likes this. Hi, Darren. Thanks for joining from Dublin. It's sunny here too. Actually, I was really bummed out that I had to come in and shoot this because I was working outside. So that's really, well, I find this stuff exciting. It's really great that now it's not necessary for my own page, but it's on other people's pages that I can actually now, if they're a client, I can still like the content. And I do like liking content from my clients, particularly when they're doing a good job. I want to endorse what they're doing. I think that's kind of big. I'm just going to unlike that now because people will think I'm weird. Right, I'm on to the final topic of today's Facebook Live. Landing pages. I need my iPad again. Now, I'm sure all of you that are watching right now are completely savvy, tech savvy. You know what a landing page is, but just in case you missed it, a landing page would be a specific page on your website where you've kind of cut all the clutter out of it so that it performs one job. And that one job will be to get people to buy something in general or sign up for something. You might have one for your email list. Now, bear with me because I'm going to have to tell my iPad to open something else up. So I'm delighted most of you are in Ireland that are watching because last week I think there were a lot of people from around the world, which is fabulous too, but of course you're all on Irish time, so that's always good for me. And it's good to know that people local are watching too, so it's not just, it's loading right now. Just going to have to put it on the side for this one. Right, so this is a landing page that we make these for the other business, We Teach Social, and it does one job. You can see there's a header image there. And then there's kind of the call to action box. It's actually, this course is sold now, so it's got kind of a few tick boxes to tell people what's there. Yeah, look at all the Darrens. I think I should just do a Darren episode at some stage. So that's what it is. It does one thing. It's distraction free. There's no menu at the top sending you anywhere else. And this actually works really well for us. I was kind of proud of my landing pages. I was kind of going to Learn Inbound going, he's not going to tell me anything I don't already know about landing pages, but he did. I've got a notebook because I've got a memory like a sieve and I have to check at my points. Right, so tip number one, this is from Ollie Gardner, who was at the Learn Inbound event there on Wednesday night. He works for a company called Unbounce, who have great software for landing pages, a little bit beyond my budget, to be honest, but it's really good software. I did do a trial on it. So my tips, his first tip he came up with was you won't put the logo right at the top of the landing page. Of course, you're going to have your business name up there. Don't make that clickable. Because if you make that clickable, what happens? People go to a website, very often they'll click the logo. And of course, that brings them to the homepage of my website. And I've lost them. I've spent all that time and often money in ads getting them to my landing page. And then they just click that button and all my time is wasted. I was sitting there going, oh no, I think I made that clickable, because you do, don't you? I checked it out. I did make it clickable. So that's one thing I need to fix on my landing pages. Number two, and this is really an interesting thing, when you add a form to your landing page, so say this was, you were just a free download of an ebook or something to try and get people's email addresses. If you have one field in that form, that's the best possible scenario. Lots of people will fill it in. There's a bit of a drop off if you have two fields, but I like having two fields because I want people's first names so that when I email them, I can customize my email to their first name. So 1 and 2 aren't bad. And then there's a sudden decline on the number of people that will fill it in, depending how many questions you've got in that form. So it went down for 3 and it went down for 4. But what was really interesting in the graph he showed us was the percentage of people that would fill in the form all the way to the end was almost exactly the same for 4 fields, 5 fields, 6 fields and 7 fields. So if you absolutely have to, and you've narrowed it down, ask 4 questions in that form. And sometimes that's good because you can qualify your leads better. You can also ask 7 without any drop off or without much drop off. So any number between 4 and 7 is exactly the same. It's a low number of people that will fit it in, but you'll be able to get that data. And the third one was a really obvious one, which was to make it very clear what you do, what people are signing up for. So he showed us lots of examples of people using that sold marketing software. And it was really hard to determine from almost anywhere within the landing page what that marketing software did. So that's really important. If you're creating a landing page for your business, if you want to sell something, even if you're just getting them there to sign up to your mailing list, make sure it's very, very clear what you do. And the thing to do then is to show it to people and ask them. He was talking about a site called, it's got out of my head now, where you can actually submit different versions of a landing page and ask people, what does this business do, to see if you get a good response. That's all my topics for this week's Facebook Live. Thank you all the Darrens for joining in and all the others. I think we've had more people watching than ever before, so I'm kind of glad I did my set. Do you like my set? Next week I might have jingles. Thanks a million for tuning in. Actually, I won't be here next week because it's a bank holiday here in Ireland and I figured I'd go away. So in 2 weeks' time, 4 p.m, join me for a cup of coffee and a chat about social media. Goodbye.